In this video, I'm going to show you how to set up activities for a team member. We're going to be under the Administration tab, and we're going to go to Manage Employees. Now I'm going to pick the employee that I'd like to set up an activity for, and I'm going to go over here to Activity Goal tab. Now you'll notice there are no activities here. So if I want to set up an activity for an employee, all I'm going to do is click right here on Add New Activity Goal. Now, most activities we're counting a quantity of how many times they're doing something. So that would be relevant to counting an app, and it's not a premium situation. So you're going to want to have the app checked. All activities are under miscellaneous in the product setup, the master product setup. So if I go to miscellaneous, and then I need to specify which activity I want to choose. So in this example, if I said new households quoted, now, however you're thinking about the goal, or however you're talking to your team member about the goal, as far as the period, that's what you select. So many per day, so many per week, so many per month, and then enter the goal, and the system does all the math for you. So in this example, we're going to say we want so many per day, and I think I would like to have 3 per day. And you have to tell the system when to start counting and when to start tracking. So we're just going to go ahead and do this effective. We'll do it effective March 1 and save. So what the system's going to do is it's going to say it's miscellaneous, new households quoted is going to start on March 1, 3 per day. Now the goal is going to start in the middle of the week, so it's smart enough to know that for that week, for the first week, there's only 3 days in that week, so there's 9 for the week, 66 left for the whole month, and 654 for the year. And this is smart enough to know that how many days are left in the year as far as working days and how many per day, and it starts counting. Now if you want to edit this, if you want to change the start date, or if you want to delete it, you just click over here. I'm going to hit edit. And so if you want to change the start date to the following Monday, you just click on that, and that's when it starts counting. And you'll notice that the numbers are slightly different because we've got a different start date. But that's how you do a activity for an employee. It's very simple. So let's look at an employee that we've got set up on activities. And I want to share with you how we coach and the philosophies behind the activities. So we're going to come over here and we're going to click on the Activity Goal tab. And this is an example. So we do not include phone call activity in Connect. Now you certainly can. We just thought it was more efficient to let the phone system do that, and you can run a phone report and see how many outbound calls and how long they were on the phone. And so we didn't think it was a good use of the salesperson's time. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with how many households do they quote each day. And you'll see here the daily goal is 3, and that works out to 15 households quoted per week. Now, it may take you a week or two for your person to get up to speed, but you keep coaching them until they get to 15 for the week. Once they've mastered that, then we're going to go down to the next category, which is how many households are you closing. So if in a day, if they quote 3, our goal is for them to close 1 household every day. So if they do that for a week, they're going to close 5 new households. So in the beginning, once they get to their quoting 15, and you come down to the next category, they may be saying, well, I quoted 15, boss, but I only sold 2. And that's where you've got to coach them, and you've got to, are you asking for the business? Are you following up? Are you selling the value? And you keep coaching them until they get to the point where they're quoting 15 and they're selling 5. Now, in my office, one of the keys to our big success is we get almost every new client to come in for a great onboarding appointment. And so, again, if they're closing 5 households for the week, I expect that they're going to have 5 new business appointments or onboarding appointments. Again, in the beginning, once they get to the point where they're closing 5, now we're coming down to the next category, and you say, okay, good, you closed 5. How many of them did you get in? And the answer may be, well, I got 2 in or 3 in. And again, you're coaching them until they get proficient at that. Now, once they get 5 new clients to come in, and we want both spouses, that's very important. Once we get them to come in, I expect my team to do 3 things very well in the onboarding appointment. out of 5 households, I expect that we've got at least 3 auto refinance loans submitted. I expect that out of 5 households, we've got 3 simple conversations or some good pivot conversation into financial services. Out of 5 households, I expect that we're going to have at least 2 triangle conversations. Now, hopefully if they're writing 5 households, we've got at least 2 homeowner policies sold. So what I'm really telling the employee is on every single homeowner policy, you better be having the triangle conversation. It's very, very important. We sell a lot of financial services off of that. So again, out of 5 households, out of 5 new onboarding appointments, if they do these 3 things well, what we expect is next week we have 2 new client financial service appointments where they're coming back in specifically to handle the items that they want to get covered on financial services. If you can get your team to go down through this progression and do these things well and do them consistently, you will sell a ton of financial services and your team member will be very, very successful.